Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Gianna, Graziano, and Phoebe French about Season 4 of Cobra Kai, streaming now on Netflix. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, the champs are here, right? Cobra Kai is here on Popternative.
Cobra Kai in the house,
winners.
man.
Absolutely. It's so great, so much fun. Gianna, I'm just curious, because I know from Instagram, both of you worked on the show together. Both of you are friends. Did you know each other before Cobra Kai?
No, we met on set, and it was a totally different experience from how I know her now, because we met, it was 6 a.m. in the morning. My first scene was the prom scene. So I came in, I was like ready to work. I was a fan of the show, and I meet Phoebe, and she's entitled as Piper's friends with me. So I'm like, who is this blonde girl? And like, why is she not as excited as me to like work on Cobra Kai? Because she had been there for a week beforehand, and she, already knew the ropes, and I came in like the newbie, and we ended up working together every day, and it was, now we're best friends.
Amazing. And Phoebe, obviously, there's auditions and everything, but is there anything specifically you could tell me about how you got involved with Cobra Kai?
Yeah, kind of how we got involved was we just got asked for like fitness, like they were looking for fit people, and they didn't really tell us much. Like I think until honestly like halfway through shooting, we didn't fully know the extent of like our role or what we were going to be doing. Like we kind of just found out more along the way. We were like, oh yeah, we need you back for this. We're going to add you into this team. We're going to do this. And so eventually we kind of figured out that we were going to be continuous characters for foreseeable future. So
yeah, absolutely. It's the champs. I mean, it's Gianna, it's crazy because it's like, All Valley Tournament is obviously like the focal point when like season 4 was kind of announced and like how season 3,
Right.
and it's the tournament, right? So you kind of have this idea that there's going to be squads, right? Like they focus on like 3 or 4 characters here and there, but they need teams. So it was cool to see some new faces, and everyone was around at the All Valley Tournament, Gianna. What was that like, kind of seeing everyone?
Oh my goodness. I was fangirling so hard, especially we were there for 2 weeks straight filming the All Valley, and we were across the mat from Ralph Macchio and Billy Zabka and the rest of the Miyagi-Dos and Eagle Fangs. And it was such a cool experience because we had our squad, we had Silver Squad and Kreese's. So the Cobra, as Phoebe knows, we were twice the size of the other dojos.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
they don't mess around. Cobra Kai doesn't mess around.
No.
got the numbers.
And we became a really big family. It was awesome.
It was really cool. Phoebe, is there kind of a standout in terms of, like, I'm on the All Valley Tournament now because I just thought that whole sequence was amazing. Is there something you could tell me kind of highlight-wise about just working on the All Valley Tournament specifically?
I think first, the moment we got our gis was like the best thing ever. Like trying them on and having our names on there was just so cool. So that moment, and then really what stands out is just like the stunt work that went into it. And Cobra Kai, obviously they're fighting and they have such great stunt team, but also the actors do a lot of their own stuff, and everyone's just working together super well. So it's really like a balance between the stunts and the actors as well. So I think just like being able to watch that and being a part of that was like super cool.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I told you before we started, like I'm doing a lot of interviews with the cast, and I keep assuming that certain scenes, it's like, yeah, you work for your stunt double. And then they're like, no, like I did that scene and I did that stunt. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
The actors are pretty amazing in that aspect, that they can do both.
Absolutely. Gianna, before we started, you kind of explained it a bit well before we started. I was wondering if you could talk about like exactly what you were doing and how you kind of worked on the show specifically, because you were around for quite a bit throughout the process as well.
Right, yeah. So I came in about halfway through the season, and basically me and Phoebe's role, as well as the other core background players, we are there for mainly the dojo scenes and anytime it's Cobra Kai, because we're team players.
Yes.
So we'll be there whenever there's Tori, Robby, and now we have the new character, Kenny. who's played by Dallas, who is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And basically, we're there every day with them whenever they're needed. We're there. We do the karate in the dojo. We'll learn some, kicks, some punches. More into that for season 5, definitely.
Yeah.
But,
No, for sure. Does it excite you a little bit though, Phoebe, how it kind of left off with, both of you are in Cobra Kai, right? We see you on Cobra Kai, and specifically part of that dojo. Cobra Kai wins despite, it being kind of not a traditional way of winning. Cobra Kai wins the All Valley tournament. There's a lot of kind of hype and a lot going into season 5, knowing that we're going to see Cobra Kai. Obviously, you might not know what's going to happen and everything. It's pretty cool, though, that there's like some possibilities down the road for your characters, and the book is kind of wide open, Phoebe.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And I think every season, leaves off on such a big cliffhanger. So you never really know what's coming next. So I think just like that excitement of not really knowing, but just knowing it's going to be cool. Like, I think every season so far, in my opinion, has got progressively better and better.
Definitely.
So it's just really exciting. Like, you never know what we're going to be doing every time we show up, which is really fun.
It shoots in Atlanta. Are you both like from or reside in the Atlanta area, or did you have to like come over from somewhere else?
I had to come over from somewhere else. So,
Gotcha.
Like I said before we started the interview, I started off as a fan. I just wanted to be on the show. I was like,
Absolutely.
This is my age group. I love Karate Kid. My family's a huge fan. And I'm originally from Mount Bethel, Pennsylvania. So I was just looking up auditions, anything Cobra Kai related. And I found it in Atlanta. So I drove down. It was like a 13, 14-hour drive. And I was originally supposed to be there just for a week filming the prom scenes. But then they kept asking me back. So then I ended up, residing with Phoebe, and we stayed there, and now I'm looking to moving down there full time. So
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing shows like shooting in Atlanta, Phoebe. Like,
Atlanta's a hot spot for filming. For sure.
Yeah,
It really
it is.
is.
Stranger Things as well, and Ozark. There's a bunch, which is amazing. Phoebe, what is your favorite thing about being part of Cobra Kai on Netflix?
I think just like the community that it has.
Everyone's saying that. Like everyone's saying
It's the best.
Everyone's saying the people that like no one has any other answer. Yeah.
Hands
It's so
down,
special.
it's so cool because like coming in, I came in before Gianna, so I didn't really know what was happening. I came in the episode 6 where they're recruiting for the to get girls into the dojo. So I knew that was kind of like a big plot point. And just coming in, even the first day, all of the crew is so awesome, and all of the main actors, there's no one that's stuck up or thinks they're too cool to not talk to you or anything like that. Like genuinely everyone, comes up to you and wants to get to know you and know what you're doing. And yeah, we've gotten really close as time has gone on. So that's probably my favorite thing.
And I saw on Instagram, like the character names. Like, is one of you Charlotte in the show?
That's me.
That's you. And Gianna, what's your character's name?
Lindsay.
So Charlotte and Lindsay, All Valley champs. Obviously, we know season 5 is wrapped. We saw all the things. I mean, is there a possibility we might see, Lindsay and Charlotte in season 5? You never know, right?
I think it's a pretty good possibility.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm just trying to keep it like.
Definitely.
And it's funny, a funny story about that. Gianna and I was originally Lindsay and she was originally Charlotte. And then they switched our character names. I don't know what was the final decision, but
I don't know. They
apparently we
switched
didn't-
it like halfway through. They were like, "You don't look like a Charlotte," so they switched it.
But are your names? Are your names like mentioned? Like, are they mentioned at all? Like in the show?
Not really. They're
Okay.
just on our gees.
In
and
the
then,
and the gear. Did you get to keep the swag, by the way?
Yes.
Good.
Or well, we got to keep these.
We kept these were like a little gift. But
That's
yeah,
like
they're
the
really
is
good
that
gift
that's like a
ideas.
champion Cobra Kai sweat hoodie. That's amazing. That is so cool. Yeah, I didn't realize. I just clued in. You're both wearing the same hoodie. That's pretty awesome.
we definitely, may or may not have talked about wearing the hoodie for the interview beforehand.
You gotta strategize, of course. Okay, a couple of things that I want to kind of get your opinion, because it's funny because, I talked to all the cast members about this. You're all working on the show, but most importantly, you're also fans of the show. Like, we all love Cobra Kai, right? One of my favorite scenes, and I've interviewed everyone involved with it so far, is first of all, I just love the Daniel LaRusso and Kenny Payne rivalry. That new rivalry is just like my favorite thing about the show. I love it. I think Griffin and Dallas do an amazing job. I don't know. Both of you have seen season 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I always double check. The library scene where the lights go down is like my favorite scene of all.
Hysterical.
It's so
Amazing.
good.
Awesome.
Those kids are so great.
I found out that there was some cool behind the scenes of that, and like some of it is like actually them, and some of it is the stunt doubles. But some of them are like I thought it was I assumed it was the stunt double, but then they're like, no, that was Dallas who did the kick, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's kind of what I was saying in the beginning of the interview. Like, you can't tell. Like, I assumed it was all stunt doubles.
Yeah, they're really good about keeping it so that they're training so hard that they're able to do pretty much everything. I mean, the stunt people are great and they help out so much, but the actors are great in that way too. So that seems awesome.
Yeah, what they do is they use what's called a stunt pass.
Yes.
And they'll just film the whole fight with just the stunts. So this way, when in filming, if they have something where the actor doesn't, it doesn't look right or whatever, they'll just pull from the stunt pass. But for the most part, the actors are doing it.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And it's so crazy because Joe Sa, who plays Kyler, I interviewed him.
We love him.
He's like an original, like when it was on YouTube, I interviewed him. And it's so crazy because I love the show since it was on YouTube, and we did our 3rd interview a couple of days ago, and it was just crazy to be like, man, we came such a long way. Like, the first interview we did, it was like on YouTube.
Yeah.
And now it's like on Netflix. It's like the biggest show on the planet. Like, it's so crazy. But yeah, you guys had a really good squad to work with. So what was that like? And either you can answer this, but what was it like working with Joe and Peyton and Robby, like the Cobra Kai squad specifically?
Joe sticks out to me the most. He had the warmest heart, and he is so nice. He was always there to ask, how are you? He always gave us a hug when he saw us on set. Just so nice, so kind. Peyton everyone is so nice. There was no one that was a bad bunch.
Absolutely. Phoebe, what can you add to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, all of them are awesome, and we got to know them like super well over time. And I think something that is really great about them that stands out too is like they always kind of help us set the scene, I feel like, because they will tell us, this is what kind of happened before, this is what is going on. And, sometimes like we'll know what the script is going into it, but they really help make sure like, if there's a certain character moment or emotion that maybe we're feeling, and we can all just kind of like talk about it together as a group, and they don't just keep to themselves or anything. Like, they want all of us to look good and act and be in the moment. So.
100%. Now, a cool little thing I just thought of before we wrap up this interview, both of you might have to think a little bit about this. I want you both, I know you spend a lot of time together and everything, you're very good friends. I want you both to ask each other a Cobra Kai related question.
Ooh.
I think that'd be good. Gianna to Phoebe, then Phoebe to Gianna. I want you to ask a question.
Okay, Phoebe. What was the most memorable thing from prom?
From prom? Can I do the after party?
Yeah, the after party or prom.
Jumping in the pool. That was just always stand out. Yeah, because it was probably you couldn't tell in the episode, but it was like I'd say it was less than 30 degrees. It was in the 20s.
Yeah, it was overnight.
It was overnight, 3 days in a row, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I was in a backless dress, and I was just freezing. But we were having so much fun, it didn't even matter. And then jumping in the pool, I'll never forget that, just because there was so much like hype. Like every 10 minutes, the stunt people come around and be like, "You guys ready to jump in the pool? How you feeling?" The boys had wetsuits on under their tuxes. I couldn't because I was strapless dress, but that definitely stood out to me.
Phoebe was the only girl that jumped in the pool out of the background, other than Peyton and Mary.
Was it like an optional thing, or you just didn't want to do it?
No, they just selected people beforehand who they wanted, because I think
so they were just like Phoebe is gonna be the one, and everyone else.
Yep. I was like, okay, sure. Okay, Gianna. what do you think is something that you've grown on since filming, like personally, or could be like karate wise? Like, what do you think you've like improved on the most?
Definitely the martial arts, because even Don, the stunt coordinator, he came up to me. He was like, Gianna, we've seen your growth from season 4 to 5. I've learned a lot just from I'm sure you have too, just from watching everyone do the fight scenes. I've never had actual martial arts training, fun fact, because I'm trained in musical theater, but coming onto the show, you get to learn a lot of the techniques that they use from karate. And I think I've definitely grown a lot in that. And I'm still find myself, practicing and wondering what I could work on for next season, because the stunts and the fighting part of the show are probably, the number one thing that it stands out. So that's something that feel like I've grown on and want to continue with, definitely.
That was amazing. And can you both confirm, because I put you on the spot there, you both did really well with that. Confirm that I did.
On the spot.
I didn't tell you beforehand that we were doing that bit.
No.
Confirm that.
No.
Good.
Absolutely.
No, it felt kind of weird because me and Phoebe are so casual with each other all the time. It's like a little odd to be like, okay.
Yeah, I like saying.
Oh, for sure. No, it's so great. I'm so happy for both of you with Cobra Kai. I mean, it's it's exploding and it's just nonstop right now. Phoebe, Gianna, thank you both so much for coming on Pop Turn. It was great chatting with you.
Thank you.
It's been awesome.
So could you both plug away your social medias where people could follow you? Phoebe, we're Instagram, I believe.
Yeah, my Instagram is just my name, Phoebe French. So,
my Instagram is _Gianna Graziano.
Amazing. This has been Pop Turniv, youtube.com/PopTurn for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Phoebe French and Gianna Graziano from Cobra Kai and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Pop Turnitive. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Pop Turnitive on YouTube. Be sure to like Pop Turnitive on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.